Hello there, everyone. It's Tania Gabrielle here, Wealth Astrologist. Welcome to Star Codes, where today we are going to look at the dynamic full moon in Aries happening on October 13th in a 13 universal month. This is a really important full moon because, of course, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And it happens at 10:08 p.m. Universal Time, and that is 5:08 p.m. Eastern Time, New York, and 2:08 p.m. LA Time, October 13th. Now, it happens October 14th in Eastern Europe, Asia, Australia. So the sun and moon form an exact T-square with Pluto during this full moon. Now, this is really a huge deal because Pluto just stationed direct 10 days before the 13th on October 3rd. And Pluto is part of the major moment we're having where Pluto and Saturn come together in that conjunction, the stellium in Capricorn. So it is one of two big planets that is dismantling, changing, purging, restructuring, along with Saturn, everything that's going on. So Saturn and Pluto recently stationed direct. They're moving forward again. And so this T-square, which means the moon and sun are each forming a 90-degree angle to Pluto, is really powerful. T-squares they create action. It's literally a call to take your life in a new direction, to get up and do something with your life. And Pluto, since it is about letting go, purging, and empowerment, transformation, is really the deepest, most profound planetary experience we can have. It's also the slowest moving planet that we have moving around the sun. So that's going on, that T-square. Then we also have Jupiter at 20 degrees. The sun and moon are at 20 degrees, Pluto is at 20 degrees, and Jupiter's at 20 degrees. And that opens up an incredible 2020 door, which we're going to move. And we're going to talk about this in depth because we're about to move into 2020. And then, as I said, October is a 13 universal month, and this full moon happens universal time on October 13th. So 13 is also about the same message as Pluto. Transformation, change, empowerment, and 13 is also the divine feminine number because it's connected to the moon, the lunar cycle. So we're going to dive into all of this. We will cover also the themes of peace and the themes of ultimate empowerment that are part of the code, other planetary transits, and the awakening of your inner psychic. This is all about how you are going to get in touch with your inner world to create incredible progress, right? So then we're going to end with wonderful tips on how to leverage this Aries full moon. In general, full moons create oppositional energy. So the opposition of the sun and moon is designed to bring your relationships into harmony, right? So this is important because something will always manifest in your life in order to create a polarity, in order for you to take note. So we create awareness through having polarities, having duality. And so these full moons, anytime we have them, tend to be more emotional because we're being brought clearly into focus, not only in our relationships, which is what sun and moon also represent, of course, but the internal relationship. So Aries is about new beginnings. The moon is in Aries. New beginnings, fire, action, courage, moving towards a goal. And Libra is about taking a rest, balance, harmony, love. So the sun is in Libra, of course. That's why we're looking at both of those signs. So you're initiating a new way of being to bring your life into balance, to not feel pulled and jerked around and out of control and living unconsciously. This is very much about awakening your conscious awareness, and that's why Pluto, this T-square with Pluto at exactly 20 degrees is so amazing. So really what this comes down to is that all your experiences of life happen within you. Whether you feel pain, whether you feel pleasure, is internally experienced, right? It is all about what happens on the inside is how you experience life. Joy, pleasure, anxiety, love. So this Aries full moon and Sun in Libra invite you to be consciously aware of those polarities within you. And in doing so, consciously purge what you don't want and replace it with something high vibrational. Okay, so this is why astrology and numerology are so important. They, first of all, show us what's going on through the star codes, but they also give us the opportunity to look within through our own star code. And I highly encourage you to do that, to discover who you are at soul level. And you can do that in a free masterclass at starcodeclass.com. It really is fun because you basically go into your birthday and I even explain your astrology code, the beginnings of just understanding who you are. So go to starcodeclass.com. The full moon in Aries is very much about understanding that you have the freedom to choose to be independent. That's all Aries energy. It's the first sign. It initiates. It shows us that a new era is beginning. So if you want to break a negative habit, this is the time to do it. This is important because you're setting yourself free to live a new life. And Libra rules the 7th house, whereas Aries rules the 1st house of new beginnings. Libra rules the 7th house of relationships, close partnerships. So you want to observe whether you're projecting onto others, which is what we all do when we're not conscious. And so we often attract people into our lives who act as mirrors to us. They represent our past likes and dislikes. And so projection is a way for us to sort of feel out what's going on, but it is an unconscious response. And so we want to become conscious, of course. So when you're in high vibration, you look at how you feel around a person and you take note of how you are in any situation. So it's all internal. It's how do I feel? What am I doing? Right? It's not projecting onto them. So let's look at the number 20, because the Sun, Moon, Pluto, and Jupiter are all at 20 degrees, and that creates this powerful quadruple 20 code. 20 is about peace, intimacy, trusting in that divine connection, right? The harmony we feel, the bliss we feel when we are in tune. So good intonation in music is about listening. So 20 is about listening. It's also about perfect vision. 2020, which is part of this code and the year we're moving into, is about seeing clearly, having second sight. 20 reduces to 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. Second sight, that's your intuition. That is your inner sight. So this is important to really carry this into this Aries full moon, because the Aries full moon is again saying, okay, this is another opportunity for you to restart and be ready for what's coming in 2020. Now, the moon and sun are both square to Pluto, creating this T-square. And so this is a huge call to action to get emotionally empowered by engaging in any internal power struggles or external power struggles. So the more conscious you are of both light and dark and just the perception of energy around you, your ability to read situations and people is greatly enhanced. So the moon is your intuition. It is how you feel, and it brings emotional excitement. So you want to be patient. You want to breathe. Pluto is digging deep, and you want to understand rather than react with what you find, because this is an internal awakening. Nothing happens to you externally. Right? So this is about deep discoveries. And then the sun brings the rebirth factor. So, we have the 13 universal day, October 13th. We have a 13 universal month. This is the change rebirth number. This is about any kind of control issues that can be brought up that you then handle by understanding, first of all, that there is an issue and then taking control of it. So it's about internal fortitude. It's about courage. The Sun and Pluto basically channel a very intense moment into what you want to do in life. You want to actually get with the program in terms of what you want, what your goals are. And this is asking you to do that. So you have to let go of bygones. You have to forgive. You need to meditate in order to be totally present. And meditation can happen in thousands of ways. Remember, it is just an internal tuning in and being present, right? Being in a state of peace. So fortunately, we also have the moon trine to Jupiter at 20 degrees as well, and the sun sextile to Jupiter. And this is such a happy, beautiful, grateful, joyful, generous transit. It's wonderful for just feeling wisdom, getting in touch with divine wisdom. It's wonderful for love. It's wonderful for connecting and negotiating and sharing your feelings with those who love you. It's very much about prosperity and feeling abundance, internal abundance, and feeling advancement in your life. And it's just very optimistic energy. So this is very important. We're going to go into this later when I get into the tips, how important it is to be in a place of joy in order to make those good decisions, right? So during this Jupiter influence, it allows you to actually make shifts easily and to bring that sense of reaching your goals and feeling comfortable and blessed and lucky about who you are and what you're doing. It allows you to feel supported by others, and you just feel in sync with life, right? Now, there are a few other transits during this full moon. We're going to go over those now because they are important. Mars is opposite Chiron and Venus is opposite Uranus. Like I said, there's a lot of opposition energy in this full moon, so it's important for us to bring that into harmony. Now, Chiron sensitizes any sign that it's in. Chiron is very much about love and crystallizing and amplifying healing in your life. Chiron recently moved into Aries for many years, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. So Mars opposite Chiron activates your sacred healer and your sacred warrior. So Mars in the negative expression can get angry and hostile and force its views on others. So the key to healing is to learn how to express anger in positive ways. So, this is important because when you're going after what you want, even if others don't agree, you still can move forward, but you have to let go of that propensity to want others to actually join in with you. That's never going to happen. Everybody has a different way of seeing things. So, and if you are attracting people into your life who are reflecting certain unexpressed emotions, Chiron is going to come in and say with Mars, look, you need to actually assert yourself in the most loving way, but you need to understand that you are empowered from within. You are a force to be reckoned with. So knowing the amount of force to use in a situation, which is what Mars is about, and consciously taking practical action that is not aggressive, but that makes a deep healing imprint because you are empowered from within. So this is really a very important transit during this Aries full moon, as you can see, when we look at all the things that Pluto is bringing up about empowerment and transformation. Now, Venus is opposite to Uranus, and this is actually important for your intimate relationships because there may be a change because your inner genius with Uranus is flowing, and Venus wants to be really creative now. Venus wants that freedom planet of Uranus to express itself. So what you want to definitely do is stay away from drama. Instead, channel this heightened creative energy into some pleasurable, Venus-oriented, beautiful creative project, and use the incredible intuition of this opposition of Venus and Uranus to strike up your imagination and really create something exciting in your life. This is, again, another gift to bring that inner creativity into balance within you. Now, let's look at another really beautiful transit that is happening, aside from the Jupiter transit I already talked about, there's another beautiful transit, Mercury trine to Neptune during this full moon. And so this really is where we need to focus our attention on, because Neptune is the spiritual connection, the galactic connection. It is about the flow of life that is eternal. And Mercury is how we translate that energy. So this is really about nonverbal communication and extrasensory gifts that are being put in place. The trust in your intuition, which is a key theme. The seeing of the big picture. Neptune is all about everything, including everyone and everything. It's unconditional love. So there is no separation between you and the world. So when you can see the big picture in your own life, you can also share that vision with others through Mercury the messenger. And so it raises the ability to feel compassionate and to feel empathetic and to connect sweetly and deeply. So this begins within. This sweetness, this loving connection is first born within you. So you want to engage in things, in relationships that really nourish you at soul level, at a heart-centered level. And that means listen to your visions, Neptune, listen to your dreams. Go follow obscure topics if that's what you want to do. Get off the beaten path. See the magic in being ingenious, in looking at it in a new, different way, right? The Uranus opposition to Venus also helps in this regard. Now, how can you put this full moon to optimal use? So this is the exciting part. The tips that I'm going to give you now are really very powerful, because they actually will take you through this incredible period we're all experiencing now, with Pluto coming together with Saturn in Saturn's own home sign of Capricorn, which is the 10th house, which is your career, which is how you express your gifts to the world. So how can you put this to best use? Well, remember, we have the T-square with Pluto, which is the purging of the past, especially. We empowering you from within, making room for change, making room for transformation. We have the 1313 code. And the 1313 code, let me just dive into that for a moment, because, October is the 13th universal month, and this full moon is happening on the 13th. That's how we got to that code. So 13 and Pluto both govern total reboot, total life, death, rebirth, okay? And that creates the surge of courage. So you're going to the core of whatever is happening in your life. You're discovering the hidden unconscious drivers, the truths and as a result, you're making richly rewarding discoveries. Now 13 is the number of the divine feminine as well, because we have 13 lunations in a year. We have 13 weeks in every season. The moon moves approximately 13 degrees every day. And the 4 seasons multiplied by 13 equal our 52 months of the year. So the moon cycles are totally integrated. The lunar, feminine cycles are totally integrated into our experience of Mother Earth and living on Earth. So now, how do we understand that balance? I mean, the full moon is about balance, masculine, feminine, divine, feminine, sacred, masculine. Everything happens within you. So the way life happens within you is how you know your life. And that is the balance that you need to understand, because what is unseen is what is most powerful. Just like we don't feel our internal organs, we don't feel our nerves, we don't feel blood flowing internally, it doesn't mean it's not happening, and that is what's keeping you alive. The same goes with how you lead your life. It's not the external stimuli that are defining your experience of life. It is your internal understanding, your conscious awareness or unconscious awareness, unawareness, I should say, that shows how you experience life. So, for example, peace can be talked about at length, but it must be felt. You can even demonstrate for peace, but you must feel at peace to understand what peace is, right? Same with love. You can fall in love, you can say, I love you, but the only way to feel love is to be in a place of love, right? So this is really important to understand, because even with things like talking about dark subject matters, we don't become those dark subject matters just by talking about them, right? So, and it's important to look at both light and dark in our life, as long as we don't dwell and become the darkness. So it's really the state you're being that defines your spiritual, emotional, mental state, even your physical state. So when you look at it that way, you know, Pluto is basically saying, Pluto uncovers secrets. Pluto uncovers what is unseen, the deep, dark, unconscious stuff that we need to be aware of, because it is what is fueling our actions and fueling our decisions. So when you look at it this way, the outside actually is not important. There are so many other factors. There's so many people creating outside energy. It has nothing to do with you. So that means you control your internal experience. Only you. Nobody else is controlling it. So why not create what's happening within you in a joyful way, the way you want it? You have that choice. And that's the nature of the opposition. It gives you that choice. Oppositions are there to show, okay, it might be warm there or cold there. You might feel more peaceful if you do this, or more frustrated if you go that route. You know, you feel more joyful if you go this direction, more miserable if you do that direction. That is the choice we have, and that's defined in the opposition, the full moon energy. So Pluto and the number 13 are basically saying, take charge. Take charge of what's happening within you. Take the lead on how you're experiencing that inner life. Take the baton and be the conductor of your symphony. Don't let somebody else create cacophony. You want a symphony. Cacophony is created when somebody else, external circumstances, define how you feel. And this is an unconscious way to live. Now, with technology and information, of course, and science, we've made major breakthroughs. We've enhanced our life in a very beautiful way. Practically, we are solving problems, you know, from the outside in that way. But that's for practical living, right? That is not for actually how you feel as a result. So we need to start, first of all, with reclaiming that inner territory, and of course not complaining about what's going on outside anywhere, whether it's politics or anything. We stop complaining. Instead, we focus on our inner well-being. We feel internally driven to act, not externally. Okay? We feel intuitively inspired to create, to speak, to do anything. And here's the thing, feeling good is absolutely necessary in order for you to live your life at your full potential. Feeling at peace, feeling blissful, feeling grateful, right? Those are a requisite to living a high vibrational life. You can't make decisions good decisions, well, you can make decisions at any time, but you can't make really high vibrational decisions when you're not feeling well, when you're feeling disempowered, when you're feeling stressful or constrained or angry, miserable. Low vibrational choices are created when you're in a low vibrational state. High vibrational choices are created when you're in a high vibrational state. When you feel internal joy, when your mind and body are just in a state of peace and health and healing, that's when you can function at your highest potential. So high vibrational choices can only be made when we've seen light and dark and we've chosen a high vibrational state of being. And it's just to remember, everyone is pursuing happiness in their own way. So we don't want to judge others for how they're going about it, because we haven't walked in their shoes. So it really makes no sense to waste time on that. So when you see that and you understand that everything you feel, everything you experience, every joyful sad, painful, blissful experience that you have in life originates actually internally, then you realize that life begins in that sacred internal space. And how awesome is that? I mean, basically, your life is up to you. And Pluto in this T-square with the sun and moon right before this exact conjunction in Capricorn, which is all about leadership and taking the lead. Now, this is really an important point for you to internalize this at a deep, deep level. So if anything comes up for you that's challenging you to shift, to transform, to change your ways, and it will for all of us, please do so. And always turn within for guidance. Turn to your guides for guidance. You know, remember, you come from the stars, you return to the stars. You need to engage with the stars. You need to engage internally with what's unseen, mysterious, and actually creates your reality more than anything else in your life. So I truly wish you a gorgeous Aries full moon. And remember, your own star code is super important to understand. You know, the birthday, even understanding just your day of birth and your life purpose number, which is your full birthday, is like amazing. And you can help others just by understanding them. You know, knowing somebody's age, the same thing. You don't even need to know their birthday. Numbers speak in codes, and those codes all have meaning. And of course, the same goes for astrology. So we dive into astrology as well. So go to starcodeclass.com and make that internal discovery even more exciting. So I will see you next week. Lots of love from me. Bye-bye for now.